Hey everybody, it's Yishan here, and I wanted to thank you guys at the start of this video for 300 subscribers. I know I promised Gren Maju deck profile 300 subscribers, here it is, but I wanted to personally thank all of you guys for helping me reach that. I reached that a lot faster than I thought I would. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. If this is, if you've not subscribed already, please consider subscribing, especially if you enjoy what I do here. But without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. Alright guys, I'm going to level with you for a second here. Gren Maju is unfortunately it's not in its best position. It's been better in past metas, and this meta has been pretty unkind to Gren Maju. There are a lot of combo decks, and like let's take Emancipator for example. It's one of the most common, and it just makes a huge board. And Gren Maju can break boards, although sometimes Super Poly has lost a lot of effectiveness for this format. It just doesn't seem to hit as well as it used to. But like, at Emancipator, even if you break their board, that block dragon is coming back. They still have plays. Same with Dragon Link, and Infernal Noble Knight. That deck attacks you in the hand, which makes it so that you really can't, even if you run board breaking cards, those don't really help against Infernal Noble Knight. And so it's really tough to, navigate all these different strategies. And it's just not a great format for Gren Maju. Hopefully, by the time Rising or Phantom Rage comes out, it will be better. But this is my current list for what I think can combat the meta the best. It's definitely not the most fun to play list for me personally, but it's just kind of like, this meta kind of sucks. I actually enjoy playing games against like Invoked Dogma Shadol and Salamangreat. I think those are like back and forth games, but the problem is this deck I've played cards that are are good against those decks as well, but this deck's not as good against rogue decks as it used to be, and it's not as fun to play as it used to be. Used to be like a nice car. Now it's more of like it's just your standard car. But we'll still get started. I have high hopes for Gren Maju in the future. This is a Golden Castle style version, but of course we're still running 3 Gren Maju Daiza. I had a commenter comment about, is this card even necessary to play? Well, in this version of the deck, yes it is. But it was more along the lines as, if you're playing a rank 8 spam deck, why even bother including the Gren himself? And basically my response to that is, well, listen, I agree that Gren Maju can sometimes suck. It's a card with very, very low lows and very, very high highs, and you sometimes get a middle ground, but not very often. But I think that as long as this deck is not tier 1, like it's not dominating with the rank 8 strategy, Gren is here to bail you out. It lets you attack on a different axis, and so I still think it's a great card. One of my favorites, so I might be a little biased, but that's my thought on whether Gren is actually needed. My answer to that is yes. I think it'll help you top more events, to get a lot of wins in a row. We're still playing, of course, 3 Gizmek. It's still the best card, in my opinion, in the deck. I'm not running Foolish Brittle for right now because I'm running 3-Dimension Shifter. Now, unfortunately, I think in this combo-crazed meta, you're sort of forced to run hand traps. And I tested a lot of them. I've seen a lot of Ghost Reaper. I've seen a lot of Gamma, Impermanence, and I settled on Shifter. I didn't really like Reaper. Reaper was good, and I liked how it allowed you to play Allure of Darkness. But it's just sometimes it wasn't effective, and it's effective against a lot of the combo decks, but you're not always going to play a combo deck. And this card is just, it always works. It always works if you have it on turn 1. So that's what I like about it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on later turns, but it's still a great card. I think it's, out of all the hand traps I've tried, this one is almost always guaranteed to work, especially if it resolves, of course. So that's why I'm running Dimension Shifter still. If you guys want to see, I have a video about how many hand traps you should run in your deck. I'm gonna put a little thing up to that right now, so go ahead, feel free, check it out. Great math and Yu-Gi-Oh video. I still run 3 Eater of Millions, necessary in this deck. I just think it helps you, sometimes you need to make links. It just helps you get a lot of banished cards fast. So he's a good friend of Gren Maju, still good, necessary in this build. 3 Danger Bigfoot and 3 Danger Thunderbird, still the best level 8 Dangers. Not much to say about these guys. These guys have been in the deck for a long time, and there's still nothing much. There's not really much better than them. I'm really looking forward to the new level 8 from Phantom Rage, the Zoo King Alpha. I've got a video about that as well, so I'll link it up here. But I think that's Gren Maju's new favorite card in the future. But these are still doing really good work. I'm not going to take any of these out for Zoo King Alpha when it comes out, but they're still fantastic. There's really not much to say about them. 3 Glyph, the Phantom Bird, and 2 Hextrude. I still believe in 3 Glyph, although I could see in this build cutting down to 2, but I still believe in 3 Glyph. And 2 Hextrude is pretty standard. I think it's been well documented that that's the best number to play. I'm running 2 Gamma Seal. Now the reason why I'm running 2 Gamma Seal, I might as well just tell you guys now, is I'm running Mystic Mine. Okay. I normally wouldn't run, Gamma Seal's not even a bad card right now, but like Mystic Mine is just so, I don't like playing it because it just turns the game into a slugfest, and like if your opponent has the out, sometimes there's not much you can do, but it's just a necessary evil, as I would consider in this meta. And so this is why I was saying that Eater of Millions is a necessary card in this deck, because Eater can banish your mind when you want to go for the OTK. It helps you OTK with Gren Maju. Gren is also extremely necessary with the Mystic Mine as your win condition later on in the game. So it's pretty necessary. Like right now, unfortunately, like it's good against Shadows, it's good against all the meta decks if you can drop it down. It's just too good. I run the Kaijus as part of the Mystic Mine package. If your opponent decides to play it out, you want like a Kaiju to be able to Kaiju over their monster. If they're just setting or hiding behind it. And so I feel like I should just get that out of the way. So yeah, finish off the monster we want 1 Pankratops. Still fine, still great. Thing I don't like about running Mystic Mines and Kaijus and all this other stuff is it sort of lowers the threat density in your deck. Again, that was my video about sort of how many hand traps you should run. It has a lot to do about deck dilution and like threat density. So, it just wins games. Like it's not really fun, but like when I give deck profiles to you guys, I want to give you what I think is best, and I think it's the best. So, there it is. I hope the format changes, but right now I do think it's a necessary evil. 3 Golden Castle, really, really great. One of my favorite cards as well, but it works well with Mystic Mine and combination because it lets you get rid of your Mystic Mine easily. Also I play 2 Lightning Storm, so basically sometimes your opponent has back row before you go off. So what I do is I set a field spell over it, and then I just Lightning Storm them, because you can Lightning Storm if you have no face-up cards. So that's my current thought process. It's good. I like Lightning Storm. It's a blowout card for back row decks, and it can even kill monsters too, which is nice. So I like it. I'm a fan of Lightning Storm still. I should note, you could easily run Twin Twisters in this card's place. Totally fine. Not a problem at all. So, yeah, it might even be better on some occasions. So, yeah, go for it if you don't want to pay whatever the fuck it is for Lightning Storms. All right, 3 Potted Desires. Yeah, this card is still the best. So, yeah. I'm also running 1 Terraforming just because I think Mystic Mine is so good. The only problem with Mystic Mine is side decking, and because they tend to bring in a lot of back row removal, and it can be harder to side deck, but I still think Terraforming is just totally, it's good because it's dual purpose in this deck. You could cut a Glyph if you wanted to, but I haven't really found a reason to. Plus I have an ultimate rare one. That's, sometimes I do make decisions based on the rarity. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. All right, Monster Reborn, still good. We go with Dimension Shifter, but I still like it. Still good. And then I run 3 Impermanents. Okay, so this is the other hand trap I run. Now, there are a lot of options. I tested Gamma, I tested Cherries, but Impermanents I think wins out in the end. So here is my problem. I think I already expressed my problem with Cherries. Very good against the combo decks. Actually, well, it depends on the combo deck. Some decks, even if you get rid of their Needle Fiber, they can still pop off and still cause you a lot of trouble, and then you're just down a card. Reaper's good against Infernal Noble. Now you sort of want to play like Isolde in your extra deck. That could really hurt them. But the problem is that not only does it cost you losses because it's not good in the match you were playing, it also takes up space in your extra deck, which really sucks. And the extra deck is getting a little tight. Now, I've seen a lot of people cut Super Poly, which this deck does not have in the main deck, because frankly, it's just not that great in the main right now. It's great against like Invoked and Salamangreat, but these combo decks just are not getting hit by Super Poly right now, and that's a big problem. It's forcing me to play more hand traps. Like Super Poly is like a great threat. It's also removal and a threat, which is the greatest thing about Super Poly. But impermanence has just been the most consistent to me. It's also very necessary with Mystic Mine, in my opinion, because not only does impermanence serve the role of stopping your opponent, but also in these, when you're just stalling with mine and your opponent's got a few back row, you can just set the impermanence in the same column as the back row you're trying to lock up, and so it acts like a pseudo back row removal card as well. So it just does too much, and I tried Gamma as well, and Gamma is fantastic if you resolve it. Like, it's the best for sure, and it can protect your castle too, which is really nice. But again, sometimes it just sits in your hand because your opponent doesn't hand trap you on the first turn if you're going first, or you have to play a break, you have to play driver, and so I just think impermanence is just the best. If you don't have impermanences, I'd suggest Gammas instead. I wouldn't. Cherries is fine, but you sort of need to play the allure with it. It's too risky. If you're already, you might as well just hope you run into some budget decks instead of having to play against combo all day. Okay, so that's it for the main deck. Let's just go right onto the side deck. I really hope it changes. Actually, before I go into the side deck, I want to show you guys what a non-Mystic Mind build would look like post Phantom Rage. Here's my early thoughts. Is I'd cut out for sure. You probably don't need this in the main, depending on how the meta shakes up, of course. But you cut out these, you cut out these, you cut out the kaijus maybe. Oops, that's Eater. You cut out maybe the kaijus, and you can play cards like Trade In. There's another kaiju here somewhere. I just lost it. Anyway, there's 2 Gamma Seals somewhere. I'll go find it just to make the visual look nice and all that. Okay, I really have lost the Gamma Seal. All right, whatever. Oh, here it is. Okay, you get the point. Okay, so you cut out this is what you're forced to play. You could even cut impermanences, for God's sakes. I don't, it's crazy. You might not even need impermanence if you're not running this. So we've got these cards. This is you can cut out for 8 for sure. I'm putting in 3 trade-ins. I'm putting in 3 Zooking Alphas, and I'm putting in 3 whatever you want, Call by the Grave, Triple Tactics, Talent, whatever you want basically. Something good. I really do think you could even leave in the kaijus if you wanted to. Keep trade-ins, if you think kaijus are good in the format. It's really up to you, but I also think it might be okay to play more than 40. I've been really thinking about this for a while recently, and I'm going to do a video on that. So look forward to that. Is it okay to play more than 40 in certain decks? I think Gren Maju is a deck that maybe can get away with more than 40. But there is another video on that, so subscribe if you are looking forward to that. But okay, so that's my thoughts. You could take out this for trade-in, Zooking Alphas, and other stuff, when Mystic Mine is not a necessity, and you play some fun games of Yu-Gi-Oh! All right, side deck. I run Super Poly in the side deck. If you're not going to play Cherries in the main, you should probably be running this in the side. There are still some matchups where it's just a total house, like Salamangreat, random dark decks, Invoked Dragma, whatever, the Dogmatica is what we're calling it, right? Dogmatica, I apologize. So I think it's still worth it. 3 Nibiru, this is another decent hand trap. If you know it's going to work, this is a great one to bring in because it gives you a body. So I like it because it's a great side deck card. If it's good, it's good. So you can bring it in. I run 3 Twin just for more back row hate. And then I've been going back and forth, but I think in this format we want to play high risk, high reward. Sometimes you'll get blown out if you run there can be only 1 and summon limits. But other times you'll be just fine, and you will totally just crush your opponent because these cards are just so powerful when it comes to stopping your opponent, and you can play under them just fine. So I still think they're worth it. It's close. It's close because when you put in, it's hard to say okay, if you run Mystic Mine, you Mystic Mine them, they might make you go first. So do they keep it in their back row removal? Probably a few of it, but they're probably not as worried about Mystic Mine going going second because maybe I can like activate it, but like it's still a little bit difficult. I don't know. It's really hard to say, but you can protect these if you have a rank 8 on the first turn. So it's a crapshoot. I don't know what to say about these, but I think I just again okay. Sorry. Final conclusion: these cards are good because they can just win the game on their own, and I like that. I like that a lot. So that's why I'm keeping them in for now. Okay, extra deck. I'm trying some new things with the extra deck, so let's just start with the standard stuff, though. Okay, by now, I think every Gren Maju player has realized Draglubian, if you're playing the rank 8 version, Draglubian is a total house. Numeron Dragon, free 9k damage, like the Boral sort of the deck. And then if you're going first, a lot of times if I'm blind, or even like if the Santa Font is not as good, I just play this Hope Harbinger, and like the Draglubian Hope Harbinger combo is just it's a nice blowout. Not a blowout, but really powerful starting board, can protect your floodgates and that sort of thing. Okay, so next we have Dingirsu and the Lancelot. Still solid. I summon these every once in a while, but I've been really summoning Draglubian most of the time. And then Lancelot does come up though, and then Sanafon, he's good, but he hasn't been coming up much. I guess I just don't play against that much Salaman great, but he just hasn't, is not as good as he used to be. So that kind of blows, but he's still decent. So I keep him in there. Okay, so super poly targets. Let's go to super poly targets. So if you're going to run super poly, of course you're going to run this. Of course you're going to run this. And then my last 2 targets right now are just aimed at invoked Dragma, because they're so powerful, these 2 targets against invoked Dragma. This one just needs invoked monster and a monster summon from the extra deck. And this one's just a fusion and a dark, so you're always going to be able to get these off. And these guys are just like total houses. I'm not playing right now the Earth Golem at Ignister because it doesn't seem like worth it. It's just like, it's okay, but like, are you really facing that many decks that Earth Golem was good against? Maybe, maybe not. It's close. I'm testing out something right now. So actually right now I have also put in, and I just didn't buy the cards because first of all, you guys subscribed so fast I couldn't even buy the freaking cards. But I'm right now testing out 2 Elder Entity Ints, whatever it's called. And the reason is for this, of course, after I put them in, I never face any Dogmatica decks anymore. But the one that basically forces you to send 2 from your extra deck, like I want to try having like a counter to that play. And so that's my current, like, I'm just trying out to see if it's any good. I haven't really like resolved yet, so I'll have to get back to you guys on that. So, yeah. 2 other units. I apologize for the proxies, but I think these are the best super poly targets right now. Level 8s or a total house by itself, the way to go, basically. Level 8s or a total house by itself. Okay, last few cards. Okay, so you should still run these 2, for sure, 100%. They just come up every once in a while, and you need them, especially Phoenix for clearing back row when you have Mystic Mine on the field. Last card, Nightmare Unicorn, I'm not sure about. I've found a few times now that I want a Link 1 for the old Eater of Millions. And there's a few times that this might come up. First of all, sometimes Eater just gets negated by a Veiler, and I want to turn it into a Relinquished Anima. Now, Relinquished Anima is a Link 1 that whatever it points to, it points up, and whatever it points to, it can just like equip it to itself. Also, I've been in this situation where like I cannot OTK with Gren and Eater under a there can be only one because like they're both fiends. So it's not, if you can turn this into the Relinquished Anima as a spellcaster, you can still do the banishing and still get the benefits. Also, sometimes you want to make a Nightmare Phoenix and you can't with Eater or in one of the Nightmares because you have this up. So I think maybe Relinquished Anima is worth playing over Unicorn. I haven't really wanted to summon Unicorn in a while, and I have wanted to summon Relinquished Anima. So that is something to think about. You could run like Linkreeb, but I think Anima is a little bit better, although it is a spellcaster, so it can conflict with Hextrude. But yeah, so that's my current thought process on that. So that's the deck, everyone. Thanks again for 300 subscribers. If you are not subscribed and you enjoy this sort of thing, please consider subscribing. I know it's a dark time for us Gren Maju players, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always going to be a new meta, although I don't know if Konami will ever make a ban list, but I hope they do. I sincerely hope they do. And again, I want to thank you guys for getting me to 300 subscribers. My next goal is 500. I'll do something big for 500. I'll do something big for 350. Fuck, whatever. So yeah, until next time, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing and enjoy OTKing people with your Gren Majus. All right, peace.